welcome to the latest episode of my Knitting and Creative podcast. My name on Instagram is OrchidsHeart and I'm filming in Birmingham in England. I hope my head isn't cropped out or anything like that because I had a bit of a play around. I think I'm all in focus, but it does feel quite low. So we'll see. I often find when I hold things up, I hold them up not high enough and so you don't get to see them fully. So I'm wondering if this will be a bit of a better shot. We'll see. You might hear some breathing in the background. I'm really sorry, that's the baby monitor because my little one, who is nearly 2, is asleep. So can't believe he's nearly 2. We've still got another couple of months. No, 1 month. A month and a week-ish, and he'll be 2. I can't believe it, about 6 weeks. It's incredible, it's gone so quickly. Yeah, he's gorgeous at the moment. Anyway, you've not come to listen to me gush about my toddler. You've come to see what I've been getting up to. It feels like it's been quite a while. I think the last time I recorded was after coming back from Woollygood, which was in April, so that's wild. Things have been, you know, a bit up and down. I've been incredibly tired and doing quite a lot, and I've been ill off and on, and I just didn't really feel like recording or sharing very much, to be honest. Normally I find With Me Made May really inspirational and I really want to make all the things, but I've actually had the complete opposite vibe this year. I was really struggling with deciding what to wear, let alone documenting it, and just not feeling right in my clothes. I think I'm going through a bit of a change in tastes, or I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit funky about clothes at the moment, which is a shame because my wardrobe is beautiful. I think part of it is just there's so much going on that I don't have as much energy to put into creative thinking as I normally do. The creative thinking is being channeled into more practical life stuff like food and I don't know, things like that. And it's okay, things change, the rhythms of life change, summer is very busy. I think normally in the past, in the summer, I would find the longer evenings an opportunity to stay up late and do loads of sewing because it's light much later. But because we are being woken up very early in the morning, and I don't really get to choose whether I have breaks during the day or not, I'm really trying to be strict with myself about not staying up late doing things, even if I really feel like doing it, because I'm paying for it the next day. And I don't want to take my tiredness and frustration out on my son, and he's only this age once, so I need to enjoy this summer with him and not at my sewing machine, which at times I am torn, but I know I'm making the right choice, so it's okay. So I haven't done very much sewing, and I haven't done very much knitting, to be perfectly honest, which is one of the reasons why I haven't recorded, but also because I've been thinking a lot about things, so I am going to crack on. I am wearing a hacked Hinterland dress in some green linen from, I think it's from Blackbird Fabrics. I think once a year they do like a really big sale where it's like a third off or a quarter off. I think it's a quarter off, and which is a lot. And then that kind of counteracts the amount you spend on shipping if you order less than £135 in England, because otherwise then you've got to pay all the extra charges. So I think my order was about £100 and then I paid maybe, I don't know, is it £25 in postage, and it probably came to about the same amount that it would have been full price. So obviously not a sale for us, but it just makes it, in the UK, makes it a bit more affordable. And I just wanted to try their basic linen range. It's lovely. I prefer Merchant & Mills. I don't think Merchant & Mills could be topped in my eyes, which is a shame because it's very expensive. Very expensive. But I might talk a bit about them later because I think I have some making plans with them involved. So, let's dig in. I am drinking a coffee, which I'm pushing it time-wise because I think it's 1 o'clock. So this is the last coffee I can have today. And I've mixed in some powdered oat milk. I mean, this is completely unrelated, but if you're an oat milk drinker or a non-dairy milk drinker, these cartons of milk are like 97% water. And so, I mean, this is not an advert, and I have mixed feelings about it. There's a brand in the UK called Overheard, and they do powdered oat milk, and it's alright. I do drink dairy milk, and I think I prefer the taste of dairy milk in my coffee, in comparison to this. And at home, definitely. I think out and about when you're having a proper coffee with oat milk, it's really lovely when it's done properly with the machine. DIY at home, it's in this house, it's not as good. I don't have any fancy coffee devices really, just a stove pot. And yeah, it's nice, and I like having it in the house because I have a few friends that are vegan or don't drink dairy milk, and it's quite good to just, get that out for them. That was a bit I didn't mix in very well actually. Ooh. So I have 3 knitting whips, a knitting plan of sorts, and a little bit of sewing, and that's it really. So I will start with my first one, which is actually hibernating at the moment, and I might even be able to put it on for you, although it probably would mess up my hair. I am, a confession here, slightly addicted to Vinted at the moment. I try to keep it within the realms of things for my son, because it means I can buy him nice clothes I wouldn't normally be able to afford, because I can buy them second hand, and I like the eco-friendliness of buying all of his clothes second hand. But it turns out you can also buy yarn on Vinted. And so I bought 5 skeins of Woodnote by Ba Ram U, which is Blueface Leicester and Masham on Vinted. A couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, and I bought it because it was DK weight yarn. I've never tried this brand before. I think it is like £18 a skein normally, so it's not horrendously expensive, but it's quite expensive. But it's Woodnote, meaning sounds of the woodland, is a breed-specific yarn blend with a luxurious handle. It blends together 34% Blueface Leicester, 33% Masham, and 33% Merino. Okay, I didn't realise there was Merino in there. By dyeing undyed brown yarn, which I think is the Masham, it allows us to achieve a unique range of melange shades. The shades in this range are inspired by English woodlands. Oh, I thought it was just BFL and Masham, because that's what they put on the front of the tag. So it's sneaky. There is Merino in there too. I guess it makes it a bit cheaper. So it's a third of each. It is very soft. It's next to skin soft. And though I really love my rustic jumpers, I feel like in the transitional times of year and in the evenings when it's warmer, I am reaching for certain garments more because I can wear them on bare skin. So in this situation, in the evening, I have a particular jumper that I would fling on over this, because I could tolerate it on my bare arms. And it's made from, I think it was Romney. It was something that felt similar, that I bought in America when I was at Rhinebeck. And I knit this same jumper actually. It's the Sweater No.9 Light by My Favourite Things Knitwear. And I knit it whilst I was pregnant, and I wore it all through my pregnancy. I wear it all the time. It's got this high neck, it has long sleeves, and I did a split hem slightly longer at the back because I was pregnant at the time. And because I can wear it next to skin, I just throw it on stuff all the time. But sometimes when I'm at home, I kind of really wish that it would cover my butt and I could wear it over leggings. I'm not the kind of person that likes or feels comfortable wearing leggings and a top and my butt area not being covered. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could knit something like that, but much, much longer, like a tunic. And so I put that in my mental kind of to-do list at some point, and then 5 skeins of this yarn came up, and my other one I used 4 skeins of DK weight yarn. So I thought it would be enough. And so I am about halfway through, or maybe more than halfway through actually. I don't know whether the body cord is long enough for me to do this. So obviously it's not been blocked or washed or anything. So the sleeves I did a little bit longer because mine have shrunk up a bit actually with wear. They've gone a bit short. This is kind of what I'm dealing with, so it'll get much kind of like worn in. it does feel a bit bigger than my other one actually. I do wonder if I did more decreases more rapidly on the sleeves of my other one, but I'm not mad about it. I think with the longer length it will suit it. I mean, it's not far off the length now where I would normally start thinking about doing ribbing for most of my jumpers because I do cropped. But the other one is much longer than this and I want to go even longer than that. So I am about, I had at this point 1.5 skeins left. And I panicked thinking that really wouldn't be enough. And so, I'll take it off. I was looking around to see how much 1 skein full price would be to add on so that I would have, so it'd be 6 skeins, which for an oversized jumper would kind of make sense. And I noticed that on Wool Warehouse they had the same dye lot as the dye lot I'd bought. So I thought, oh, this is a sign, I should probably just buy 1 skein. So I did what I never do and I bought 1 skein and paid postage from Wool Warehouse. I nearly bought some other yarn for some other projects, but I've got so many projects in mind which I've already got yarn for. I thought, no, I'm not going to, because there are projects I want to buy yarn for, and that yarn is not available in Wool Warehouse, so I'm just buying things for the sake of it, just to save £2.50 on postage, which is crazy. So, yeah, all that to say, I've knit this much, and the reason why it's on hold is because I'm obviously not really going to wear this anytime soon, but because I have some deadline knitting I need to crack on with. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. Bit of a funny looking shape at the moment, but I am really looking forward to wearing it. And I did make a few notes about, because I knew I was going to forget what needles I was going to use, I took one of the labels of the yarn and put, so I've knit the body on 4mm, I did the sleeve rib on 3.25, but because the sleeves have really sort of hoiked in, I thought maybe I would do my body ribbing on the same size needle as the body, or maybe 3.75 or something, so it's only a tiny bit smaller, and then do the split hem so it's not hoiking in. I want it, my other one just kind of lays straight, and I would like it to do the same. You know, if I was a good person and made notes, I'd be able to know whether or not I did the ribbing on the same size needle as the body on the last one, but I don't know, so I can't do that. I can't work that out, I have to guess. So I'm putting this aside until I finish my current projects, and then I will go back to it and hopefully it'll be ready for the autumn this year. So that's kind of my first main whip. How is the hay fever getting everybody in your areas? The hay fever here, I've not suffered from it for a long time, and having suffered from it chronically as a child, I feel like it's coming back, which I'm not happy about. But my current main whip, my partner is turning 40 this year. Please don't wake up yet, little one. He's probably just turning over. He's turning 40 this year, I mean soon, in like a month and a half. No, my son's birthday is a month and a half, so it's another month after that. So maybe 2.5 months. Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. I've never knit him a jumper because he's really hard wearing on his clothes. And I did commission a friend of my mum's before I knew how to knit him a jumper. And he never wears it. I mean, admittedly, the dimensions of it are a little bit odd. And I didn't know about superwash versus non-superwash at the time, and so it was knit with superwash yarn, and it is quite kind of stretched out, so you know, I will give him that, but you know, even before it got stretched out he never really wore it. So I was always like, I don't know that I can be bothered to knit you a jumper, because how do I know you will get any wear out of it? But I thought, it's his 40th birthday, he is the kind of person you can't really buy presents for, because he doesn't want things as such. He likes old things, as you can tell by the wall behind us, and he collects the things that he's interested in, and I can't really contribute to that because I don't really understand like what makes something good or not in his eyes. We're all different. So I thought, I'll knit him a jumper. So we were talking about jumpers, and I said I really liked the look of the Stick Season by Rebecca Creabea, and I liked it because it was a pattern that I would be able to use for him, and for me, if I wanted one in the future, it's quite a nice jumper. Did he like it? He was like, and I said, you know, it's inspired by the traditional ganzus. He's like, what's that? So I was telling him about that, and like, you know, the folklore about like the fishermen's sweaters, and them all having different combinations of patterns designed by their wives who were knitting them, so that they'd be, I mean, there is debate whether or not this is real, so that they could be identified by their jumpers if they were lost at sea and then found. Massively paraphrasing, sorry. And he said, I want that. I want you to design a jumper and knit it for me. And I was like, I'm not doing that in 2.5 months. I don't have time, and I don't have the brain space. My brain space is, you know, operating at 98% most of the time at the moment. I don't have the capacity to do that for you, but maybe when you're 45, possibly. I don't know. I could work towards that, but that's not happening this year. This year I want to knit something to a pattern. Do you like the stick season pattern? Oh yes, I guess so. I was like, okay, this is not the enthusiasm I wanted for something that I'm going to make you. But I did, and we settled on this dark blue wool by Woolly Knit. So I know him, he will want it to be made from British wool. So this is the British wool DK by Woolly Knit, and it comes on cones. So I was knitting from the cone, but because I was out for the day the other day, I wanted to take this with me. I didn't want to carry the cone around with me, so I did wind some off. And I am partway through. So I am going back and forth on the front at the moment. So it's textured on the top half, and then the rest is plain. And then it has, a bit like the sweater number 9, it has some like rib detail on the seams. Well, seams, it's not really seams. So I am low-key stressed that this isn't going to be big enough, but I put it on him the other day, and it looks like it might be once the sleeves are put in. He's a very slim person. He's not much bigger than me. He's just much taller. So it will be a much longer garment than it's designed, but that's easy. Making something longer is not a big deal. But he's a string bean. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm enjoying it at the moment, apart from being slightly stressed that it won't fit. He said if it doesn't fit, you could do it for yourself. And I said, yeah, but I don't want a dark blue jumper. It's not really my thing. And I bought the yarn to make your jumper. But so I had to buy 2 cones because I really didn't think 1 cone would be enough. I think 1 cone would be enough for me, but his needs to be much longer. So I bought 2. I don't think I'll need 2. But she does do a stick season child's pattern, so I thought for Christmas I might make the child's one for my son so they can match. And one day maybe I'll make myself one in brown or something like that. But that's not happening anytime soon. I'm not in a hurry. Although this would be good for it. I've just got coffee on the label. That's tempting. So my last yarny comment then is I did some more vintage yarn shopping. 4 skeins of this came up on Vinted, and so this is the Cumbria. Also illustrious blend of brown masham, merino and mohair. So I did use the Law by Fibre Company a few years ago. I really enjoyed knitting with it, and I've tried their amble sock yarn. I am under the impression that they are no longer doing yarn. They've discontinued their yarn. And so this person was destashing 4 skeins, and it worked out about £10 a skein, so about half price plus postage. And so I thought I'd give it a go. And I was thinking of doing the Corin cardigan by Creabea, because it was on my to-do list, and I was gifted the pattern a couple of years ago by a watcher, and I do really want to knit it because I've been wearing my green lace Maple Meadow cardigan that I knit earlier this year absolutely tons because of the lace. It's sport weight, which probably helps. It's quite light, and it's been really good for transitional weather where it's a bit warm, a bit cold, in the office, etc. And I thought I kind of need more things like that in my life because I want to wear it every single day at the moment in terms of the comfort of it. But because it's green, it doesn't really go with all my green clothes. There's quite a lot of things it doesn't go with. So I thought if I knit something in brown or orange, then between the 2 of them, I'd probably have all my bases covered. But I was thinking, you know, perhaps DK and mohair is maybe too much, and then it wouldn't have the same feel. I really like the brightness of her version of the Corin cardigan. It has like a summery vibe. I'm not sure this colour does, but then I don't know. So I'm a little bit umming and ahhing about it. I would have preferred to knit the Corin cardigan and perhaps a cotton wool blend, but I've been really struggling to find a line of yarns in that makeup where I like the colours, because I'd also really like to knit the Forest Keys vest, and that was the one I wanted to buy the yarn for. But I can't find any yarn at the moment that screams that is the yarn I want to use, because I prefer it to be not too warm, because then I thought I could wear it like over a dress like this right now, but then also wear it when it's a bit colder, because I think it's designed in a woolly wool yarn and it looks really beautiful, but I just don't know that that's got the same breadth of wear for me. So if you do know any wool cotton blend yarns that have a what do you call it? Not a flat colour. Sorry, my brain at the moment isn't totally wired up. You know, when it's got browns and sort of a texture in the colour. I think this is why I'm drawn to linen quite often, because cotton tends to have quite flat colours, whereas linens tend to have a bit more depth to the colour. I mean, I would say this one probably has quite a flat colour, to be honest. It's fairly straight up orange. There's maybe a bit of mix in there, but I really like this kind of mix in tones. So if you know any wool yarn blends, because there is Knitting for Olive, the merino cotton, but the colours to me look really flat. So they're beautiful colours, but they're quite flat, and I think they suit a particular look that isn't necessarily my look. So I don't know, if you know anything else that's more rustic looking, let me know. I'd love to know. So yeah, I'm umming and ahhing where to do the Corin cardigan. I do think the stick season would look really gorgeous in this actually. So, you know, maybe it will get put aside for my stick season. This year I have abandoned the queue and plans and focused knitting, and I've just decided to knit whatever the hell I want to knit because life is short, and I will come back to those plans eventually. And there are a few plans like the Alpenglow sweater by Andrea Mary. I really loved the pattern when I bought it, and I do have the yarn for it, and I don't love it anymore, and so I'm thinking I've got 3 skeins of teal Kelborn woolen yarn in, I think, a DK weight. It might be the 4 ply. It's the Scout, so I'm not sure which weight that is. I could just knit a jumper in that, something else, a cardigan. I don't have to do all the jazzy patterning in it, although I would wear that jumper with jeans. I just wouldn't wear it as often if it was more classic looking. So I don't know, I'm thinking about that, because I bought those 3 skeins of that and then a skein of Spin Cycle, which I've still not used, and I was really excited to work with that, but maybe I need to use the Spin Cycle in something else. Maybe I need to pick something that's got less going on, because I picked out some scraps for the contrast colour and the fluff bit. So it's like orange, mustard and teal and blues, and that's just like quite a lot, and I think it's too much for me. So I don't know, I'm thinking about that teal yarn. I still love it, I'd still use it, but maybe I should knit my Corin cardigan in that, for instance. But then I've got a teal cardigan and a green cardigan. That doesn't necessarily solve my problem with things going with my green clothes, because it wouldn't go with this dress. So it would make a fabulous Corin cardigan, but it would also not solve my colour cardigan situation. See what I mean? It's a minefield. I have 1 knitting plan left, and it's in this very unsightly bag, which is what my pregnancy pillow came in. Would you believe it? They managed to fit a pregnancy pillow in here. I do not know how they managed to get it out and let it expand. I do not understand how it was in there. It is a bag of scraps, leftovers, small amounts. I mean, some of it is like, you know, one of those 25 gram Shetland things, which I've only used a tiny bit of. And I am knitting a Scrappy snake. So I wanted to use some scraps. I wanted to make something for my son's 2nd birthday. I was going to make him like a dress-up outfit, but I don't think we're there yet age-wise. And so I'm knitting him a Scrappy snake, and I will stuff it. I'm just umming and ahhing what to do about the tongue, because they braid some red yarn for a tongue, and I don't like it. So I might make a tongue out of some felt or something, like cut it out, 2 layers and sew it together. I don't know, and then you embroider some eyes. I'm trying to decide whether to get some plastic safety eyes or just embroider some eyes. I kind of want this to be a more or less free project. I have quite a lot of stuffing, just using what I've got. I'm really trying not to go crazy for his birthday. Again, mostly secondhand things on Vinted, because, you know, he's happy with that and he has loads of toys, so we don't need loads more toys. So yeah, just using up some scraps and some small amounts, and I'm really enjoying that. And I'm thinking I could make him a really jazzy jumper with some of this too, to be honest. Trying to be a little bit more using what I've got and less buying more, which I know sounds rich, and I've bought 2 sweater quantities off Vinted in the last few months. But you know, I'm also living life and enjoying it, so there we go. So that's all of my knitting. Let me see if I'm still recording. Sorry, dust. That's all of my knitting. So let me just have a quick sewing moment. I haven't done any sewing for myself for quite a long time, I don't think. I did buy the sorrel trouser pattern by Flora Child, which I think also made the pattern I'm about to talk about. But I haven't got around to doing it yet. My weight is shifting around quite a lot at the moment, and I'm holding off making anything that's not so flexible in size. This has got a flexible waist, like you can either have elastic or tabs, but I think I need to wait a bit longer before making trousers, for instance, because I would want to really invest the time and money into the fabric and really like them, and I don't think I'm at the right moment right now to do that. I am thinking about making myself some elastic waist shorts for summer, but I think I would make my normal size, and then just do the elastic a bit smaller, and then not top stitch the elastic down, just so that I could then let it out a bit, if I need to at some point. But I don't know, I would really like some shorts for summer, but the problem is I'm umming and ahhing about which fabric I want from Merchant Mills, so, and I can only justify really getting one. But I did decide, because I'm the Chanterelle shorts pattern by So Liberated. So I'm going to print out the pattern pieces, and I'm going to see how much space that those pattern pieces take up once I've printed it, because the pattern recommends 1.2 meters of fabric to make the shorts from sizes 0 to 24. That's quite a big range. I don't know whether it goes from like 0, 4, 8 or like 0, 2, 6, 8. I'm not sure what the sizes are, I can't remember, because it does sound like quite a wide range in sizes. So I don't believe I would need a meter's worth of fabric to make a pair of shorts. So I'm going to cut the pattern pieces out, lay them out, measure up, so I know Merchant Mills fabric is about 140 centimetres wide if it's the linen, and lay out the pieces and see how much I actually need to buy. Because the good thing about linen is it's generally the same on both sides. So with like a gingham, you can have it up, down, left, right, it's the same as long as you're on the grain. Like you can have it at any 90-degree angle. With the stripe, you'd obviously need to be careful, the stripes are all going the same way. But with a gingham, you've got a lot more flexibility. And this has come very handy for making the most of your fabric on a few occasions. I'm not really stingy when it comes to fabric. I buy as little as I absolutely have to, as little as I can get away with. I made some bob pants not so long ago with a metre of their narrower cotton linen blend. Totally got away with it, had to use some scraps of something else for the pockets, but I'm fine with that. I might have had to piece the waistband together. You can't tell because it's elasticated and it gets pulled in. So yeah, I'm really careful. So I think a metre would be too much. So I might buy, if I can get away with half a metre, I might buy 2 different half-metre lengths. I'm also tempted to see if I bought something like 3/4 of a metre or 0.6 of a metre, whether I'd then also be able to get enough in to make my son something. Which leads me to my main sewing, about a year ago, I went through my stash of leftover fabrics and cut out in loads of different sizes. I cut out the biggest size I could get away with in that leftover piece of fabric. Loads of different sizes of the Sage Pants by Flora, which is this pattern. So I've already shared these ones. These are leftover fabric from Ray Stitch that my mum had left over, and he's been wearing these absolutely tons. And so I had in my basket of things to do 4 pairs left cut out to sew up, and so I finally finished those. So I had 2 pairs in this rust linen. He already had some, I think, at 6 months made from this fabric, and he absolutely wore them to death. My mum said, how can you give a baby linen trousers when they're going to rub their butt along the floor, because he used to do this to move, he didn't crawl. He's just going to wear through the butt and the knees, and he's going to shred them. I am not kidding you. This is a baby who butt scooted for way longer than he should have. He learned to walk really late, like after 18 months. So butt scooted to his heart content on rough wooden floors, because our floors are rough, for months. And he did pop the seam on the butt open once or twice, and I just stitched it back up. But the abrasion to the fabric, fine. Don't need to mend them, don't need to patch them. They will definitely do another child, and I have a feeling more than one. So, you know, I think that's pretty good going. And so these are, I did 2. I've done size 1 to 2 years and 2 to 3. Now I think the pattern is overly generous. So the 1 to 2s were probably actually 18 months to 2 size. But I've put some labels in, and I've put labels in that I felt were more accurate. So I think he will wear these right now, and I think they'll actually probably be too big, and he'll be wearing them beyond the age of 2. I should have sewn them up ages ago as they're 1 to 2, but I didn't have the mojo. 2 to 3, I don't think he's going to be wearing those anytime soon. They look massive. So he's wearing these ones at the moment, which I put in a label, also 1 to 2. But I think they might be the size down, or maybe more than 1 size down. I mean, look. So, yeah, but it's fine. My feeling is more that after he's done with them and I put them away, if we then had another child or his children, what I don't want to happen is for it to be the other way around, where you look at the label and it says, for instance, I don't know, 3 to 4, and you get to the age 3 and you get them out and they're too small, and so the time for wearing them has passed. I hope that makes sense. I would rather, that says 2 to 3, okay, they go in the storage bag of age 2 to 3 clothes, and it will come out with the age 2 to 3, and if they are too big, then they'll just hang up in the closet a bit longer until it's time to wear them. You know, does that make sense? And so then I also had some leftover needle cord from some dungarees I made years ago, and so I did these with some little pockets on these ones. There are some pockets on the bigger linen ones, and then these. These are actually both fabrics. A long time ago I used to get gifted fabrics by Minerva Crafts website, and I really enjoyed it for the time I did it, but it was around the time I was really working out that actually I really care about the fibre content of what I'm working with, and being gifted a fabric and then making a project and sharing about it was all very nice to have the free fabric, but it wasn't always actually necessarily really my thing. So these dungarees, I made the Yanta overalls out of them, and they look beautiful, but it's a poly cotton, and it makes such a difference. Every time I put them on, I wish it was 100% cotton. And when I was sewing these up for my son, I was like, this is horrendous to work with, because the thing is, you can fling them in the wash, you'll never need to iron them, they don't get creased. Trying to iron them to do the cuffs was a nightmare because the fabric just bounced back. But it means you could really just squash it in a bag and they look fine. So for a child it's great in that sense. Great for like low maintenance clothes, but it's just not me anymore. I'd rather have 100% cotton and have that softness and breathability, and better for the planet because there's no plastic. And I just think, you know, they even would sound better, which sounds silly. So, but I had the scraps, you know, perfectly fine for a little boy, essentially free really, just the time it took to make them. And it's the same with this. I think this is a polycotton. It feels slightly odd, so like I think it's a bit stretchy, so I think there's like some elastine in it or something. But I made a top out of this, which I did then eventually give to my mum because it wasn't really for me. She really enjoys wearing it, and is quite excited that, you know, she has a top that was made by her daughter. I do give her quite a few handmade things, but these are also 3 to 4, so maybe next year or even the year after, I'm not sure. And they've got a cute little bug print, so I thought that was quite nice. I was tempted to put like a patch pocket on them in red or something, but I haven't. It's got pockets made from the same fabric. I haven't, and if I'm honest, I don't think I'm going to, because they're done now, and I would like to put them away in the storage container for that year, and be done with that project, which I started a year ago. I suspect, thinking about it, I made 2 pairs out of green cotton cord, 2 pairs out of lime green linen, 3 pairs out of orange linen, the teal ones, the bug ones, the check gingham you just saw. So I've made about 10 pairs. That's a lot. It did take quite a long time. But the benefit of doing it like this is, you know, like I did them at the same time, like I did the orange ones. I was meant to do the 3 orange ones at the same time, but I ended up prioritising the smaller pair because he needed to wear them. And these just got left by the wayside. So that leads me to my very last kind of contemplation for today's video. I have a little bit of black check linen left from making my dress. I made a very hacked hinterland dress, and I made a whole video about it, so you can have a look at that if you want to. And I have some left, and I have enough to either make him a pair of trousers in the around the 2 to 3 age. So I think 1 size down from this. So I could make 1 pair of trousers, but as you've seen, he has got quite a lot of these style of trousers, and although he does wear them a lot, they're not always practical. I am semi-precious about the things I've made for him in that he does wear them, he does get them dirty, but I probably wouldn't take him to playgroup in them or something where I thought he was going to be painting. Mud I can handle because mud tends to come out, but paint and things like that, or being around unpredictable other messy children, sometimes I'm be like, maybe that's not the best thing to wear. So I don't want him to have too many pairs at the same age because then he won't make the most of them. Because he's at nursery 3 days a week, he's definitely not wearing them to nursery. So there's only so many clothes a boy can wear in 4 days. He's wearing a pair in bed at the moment actually because he's down for his nap. So we did wear a pair when we were messing around earlier. I think if it's my messing around and I'm in control of the situation, I'm less worried because I know what we're using, and I know how to then deal with it when we make a mess. So I'm kind of thinking trousers isn't the best idea, but I bought this top secondhand for him on Vinted, and with his with the trousers that I've been making him, it looks really, really lovely. It's got buttons at the back. It is actually a top for a girl. That's by a girls' clothing company, but you know, I don't care. It's just a white shirt. And so I was thinking about trying to make something similar out of this, you know, to wear either with his handmade trousers or with something that I bought in a shop. It doesn't need to be handmade top to toe, so that would be kind of cute. And so I'm kind of leaning towards that. I couldn't find a pattern for this. Someone suggested I use this to make the pattern, but I don't want to take it apart because it's really beautifully made. It's French seamed. And I could trace the front and the back, but I would struggle getting the sleeve right. I probably could just about manage it, but to me it just seems like too much work. But I did have a brainwave yesterday, the day before. I bought a jumpsuit pattern for him by Red Creek Children's or Designs, and it's called the Garden Jumpsuit, and it has a sleeved option. I've only made him the sleeveless, and I'm thinking I could use the bodice from the sleeved option and just lengthen the bodice, because it has got, the back is in 2 pieces. I think I'd need to add a bit of extra width to do a button placket, but I'm thinking I might do that. So I'm going to have to try and find some other fabric in my stash to make practice, and then see whether I can get 2 different sizes of that shirt out of this, or maybe I have to do a bit of a Mitchy, like a one that is, and then one that's like maybe a combo fabrics. I don't know, it could be quite cool if I have some scraps of the orange to do something where, I don't know, the sleeves are orange and the body's check. I don't know, it could look a bit wild. But I'm keen to use the fabric up. I do have a bin of linen scraps, and I made a quilt a couple of years ago using some of those, but the box is overflowing again. One day I'll make another scrappy quilt, I think, but I haven't got the energy for that right now. I think that might be something that I think about doing in a few years' time when we're settled in our new house. And I know what my blanket needs are going to be. But anyway, that's it. I hope that was interesting to you. I'm thinking about doing a video about my knitting queue and old knitting plans and new knitting plans and thoughts about, I don't know, tastes changing. I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I have the brain space to do that or not. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying the season that you're currently in. And yeah, speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.